Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Artistry House. We're here in sunny Preston. It's another beautiful day. And on the line today, we've got Gavin, who's our Commercial Photographer of the Year 2020. Congratulations, Gavin. I've got your trophy here, which we're going to be sending to you. And just so everybody knows, you're actually based out in Australia, but originally from the UK.
I'm in Sydney, Australia, and it's currently pouring down with rain. So
really, well, go figure. And I guess what time? It's 10:15 in the morning here. So what you'll be you're kind of so you're in the evening, aren't you?
Yeah, 9:15 at night. Yeah.
9:15. Okay. So tell me, Gavin, how did you find out about? Just before we do that, I just want to show your image here, and then we're going to put it up on screen in a second. It's beautiful. Again, beautifully printed, beautifully mounted. How did you find out that you became the British Institute Professional Photography Commercial Photographer of the Year?
I was watching. I watched a YouTube video as it went out on whatever it was, Monday. So it's Monday evening my time. I'm already running out of things to watch on Netflix, so it's. I got the email and I thought I'll tune in to watch that because I think I'd got an email saying that I'd got a silver and the other prints I entered got bronzes as well. So I thought, I'll be interested to watch. It's the first time I've entered, so I was just sort of keen to see.
Well, and you were just telling me you've been a member for what? Did you say 10 years?
I think I've been a member about 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the first time you've entered. What made you enter this time? Just thought you'd give it a try?
Yeah, I just you know, I had some success in Australia last year. I thought, I'll give it a go. I hadn't. I haven't sort of entered awards much over the years, but more recently I have been here. I never used to be into sort of printing, but I've set myself up with a printer, and I actually now, you know, all my client work is delivered digitally, but so I now just print really just for competitions and stuff like that. And I really enjoy the process of printing. I think it kind of takes me.
I hadn't realised that you'd actually printed this as well, because there was a lot of comments from the judges how well it was printed and beautifully mounted as well, by the way.
Yeah, no, I've got a printer right next to me here, so I print here, and I love the process. It's, you know, it can be an expensive process because you
get it wrong.
Print it out, see something again. But
your day-to-day business is that commercial as well? Is that what you're kind of doing day-to-day?
Yeah, all my work is business to business. So I work, a pretty broad range of clients, a fair amount of corporate stuff. You know, kind of the way I'd describe it is anything you'd see on a company website. It's the sort of stuff I'll take. So I do quite a bit of industrial type work, construction, architectural, and then sort of office and tech. So yeah, I kind of end up anywhere and everywhere. So it's a pretty interesting space to be in.
Well, let's have a look at the amazing image that's got you this award, and you can talk us through it if you don't mind.
Okay. Okay. Well, you know, whatever you know, it's in Shanghai in China. It's you know, it's kind of. The funny thing about it is it sort of almost reminds me of an English folly. It's one of these structures that doesn't really seem to have much purpose. It's you know, there's this kind of amazing redevelopment that's happened along the river in Shanghai, and they've literally sort of converted the whole riverfront into a series of cycle paths and running tracks, and it's just sort of this amazing sort of waterfront redevelopment. And this tower is at the very start of that river part. That's why it's got the 01 on it, because it's kind of like the start of that kind of whole development. And it's a sort of reclaimed industrial area as well, so it's quite a sort of interesting space. So you know, in Shanghai, it's kind of an architectural photographer's delight, because you've got so many amazing sort of structures. I was over there working on a couple of projects, and this particular project I was documenting some of this redevelopment work. So this particular shot was taken quite early in the morning. Shanghai is a very challenging city to shoot in because of you're dealing with smog a lot of the time, but you can even see here, this is, I was very lucky with with the sort of, there's this haze, and it's a very soft light that you work with all the time. You don't, compared to Australia where it's high contrast, very, kind of bright
Yeah.
light, very different light to sort of work with. And, literally this morning I'd got on a bicycle. I was staying at a hotel, several k's down the river, and I'd got on a bicycle with my gear on my backpack and cycled all the way down this river path to the beginning here. And that bridge in the background as well. It's one of the sort of widest cable span bridges in the world. So it's quite significant.
It's an amazing shot, and I know that. As I said to you just before we started recording this, that Sean Conboy, who's a very well-known architectural photographer worldwide, but he's a member, and he was on the judging panel, and he was really, really taken with this image. He was really blown away, and praise coming from Sean is very rare, let me say. But he loved it, and he actually guessed it was China. I don't know if he knows the location. I know he's shot there a lot, but he recognised that it was. And he said exactly the same about the hares. He said for you to use the hares, and really liked the building in the bottom right hand corner, how that was added to it as well. What kind of was it? A technical camera it was shot on, or what equipment?
No, it was shot with a using a Nikon D850 and with a 24mm. Oh, sorry, I'll shut that door. With a 24mm perspective control tilt shift lens. So yeah, it was a combination of just being quite lucky with the light, timing it right with the time of day, because it was quite strong sort of light coming through, but just getting that timing right and being there at the right time is kind of crucial with a lot of these things. I tend to find with buildings, you sort of go backwards and forwards at different times of day, just working out when it is best to sort of to set up to shoot. So that's how the shot was taken. I'm actually fairly close to the structure, which is why I'm using that tilt shift or the perspective control on there.
Well, I tell you now, Sean's always on perspective. If I shoot anything, when I do any videos or our Facebook lives, he's always checking out the perspective. I have to be very careful about what's behind me, because I get a telling off as soon as it's gone live. No, that's brilliant, and as I say, an amazing picture. So congratulations, as I said, commercial photographer of the year. It's really a big deal, and from a PR point of view, I'm sure it'll help a lot as well. So what I've been doing with the other interviews is, as we've been coming to the last couple of minutes, it's kind of, I guess, a little bit different because we're in Australia, but I've been asking people to give us some advice or members advice on how to get through these next few weeks. And I'm not quite sure where you are in Australia through this cycle. It seems to be that if you look at Italy, we're probably 2 or 3 weeks behind Italy and Spain, and we're expecting, we're on pretty much full lockdown now, and they're expecting a peak in the next 2 weeks. So I think from before we started recording, you were saying you're not quite on full lockdown yet, but people start to be sensible, and I guess the government's got to start taking action now in Australia as well.
Yeah, I think we're probably only about a week behind you guys. Maybe not even that. We've all basically been told to stay at home. It's not quite full lockdown, but it's we're pretty much there. It's not quite the same because of the population size. I think we've done far more testing here, so there's some things that they're doing a little bit differently. But yeah, we'll all be in the same situation. So yeah, I think it's a challenging time for any industry, any business really. But I think for us, I think from my colleagues over here, it's probably very similar to what you guys are experiencing over there. It's the bookings have mine were just got cancelled over a period of 2 or 3 days. All the future bookings I had, and yeah, I'm just finishing off one job at the moment. I'm doing an architectural job in the city, so it doesn't involve going near anyone. And at the moment, I'm still allowed out according to the government, so that's okay. I think
what kind of things will you do? Obviously, like the rest of us, you're going to have a few weeks where you've got a bit of time on your hands. What you're going to kind of concentrate on the marketing, or what website kind of thing? What will you
Yeah, absolutely. I think you know, I haven't touched my website for 4 or 5 years, so I just haven't had the time. So that will be kind of one of the first things I tackle. I think, I guess the key thing is everyone's got to first of all look at their financial situation and do whatever you can to reduce your overhead.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm pretty fortunate now that I used to have a studio in the city, which was obviously quite expensive, but I now work from home, so my overhead structure has sort of come down over the years anyway. But yeah, literally the first thing I did at the weekend was went through everything and just, you know, phone bills and everything, and just reduced everything I could just to make sure that, you know, that the base overhead is as low as it possibly can be. And yeah, worth noting that things like Adobe, if you hit Adobe up, they'll probably give you 90-day free on the Creative Suite at the moment.
Yeah, somebody actually posted in our community that was the case. So
yeah, so you know, just all those things are worth doing. So that's kind of, for me, that's the first thing, and then the next thing will be to just put the time to good use and you know, go through my portfolio, do all those sorts of things. So all the things that I've been wanting to do for a couple of years, but haven't got around to doing just yet. So in that way, it's kind of a bit of a godsend. But I think, to be honest, we're all in it for a bit of a long haul. So you know, what I do after that, I'm not quite sure. You know, I've been talking to other photographers, and they've been saying, "Oh, I'm going to concentrate on print sales," and I'm like, "Well, no one's going to have any money for prints to buy prints." So it's kind of a bit of a double-edged.
There'll be some entrepreneurs out there in the photography world that will come up with something. We'll go, "Oh, God, I wish I had thought of that." So
well, I did get a brief come through from Image Source, which is a UK stock library that I've done a bit of work with, and their brief was, you know, obviously about isolation, staying at home. So, you know, it was a brief to get stock images, which I guess are probably going to be required at the moment, of what people are doing in home environments. And I did sort of think, you know, the problem is my family won't model for me, so I'm not going to get very far on that brief. But yeah, I thought that was interesting, because I'm sure there's some photographers who've got great photogenic families who could knock out some stock shots in isolation. So
no, well, certainly in my house, there's no, they've all moved. My kids have grown up now, so there's no chance of anything like that. But yeah, I mean, that's been fantastic. Also, if you're free in the next week or two, we're also doing these interviews it's called my three favorite things, and I'm asking photographers to find the 3 favorite images that they've ever taken and kind of talk us through them, and then an image that's inspired them, and just a bit of a light-hearted relief to put some, you know, just for other photographers to have interest in. So hopefully if you're able to, we'll give you a shout back in the next couple of weeks and do that with you as well.
Yeah, I'm not happy to.
Okay. Thank you. Congratulations. Commercial Photographer of the Year. Well done. I'm sure you're proud, and we can't wait for you to come back and hopefully meet in person when you come back to see your family in the UK.
Great. Thank you very much.
No worries. See you later.